Good late afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lieutenant Stephen Rogers. I'm here to join you this evening and hoping that you join me with regard to what is happening around the country. And what is happening around the country is not very, very good. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, but before we get into tonight's topics, I always kind of come on a little early in order for our Facebook, which is here, viewers, in order for them to start populating Facebook Live, and then over here, our YouTube viewers. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to jump on board. But I'd like to say this, that our viewership has dramatically increased. We're watching, we have some analytics going on, and we're watching how many people are tuning on YouTube, how many people are viewing us on Facebook, and boy, we are climbing in numbers. And that's all because you're sharing. And what you're sharing is what we are sharing with you, which is the facts. The facts, folks, that cannot be disputed. Because when we share with you facts, you're going to be able to use them to answer questions that you're being asked about our country. Now, the number one question being asked, okay, we're going to lighten things up just a bit, is this right here, folks, right here. Now, the reason why I'm wearing my USS Ronald Reagan carrier cap and my Navy cap is I was with some veterans earlier, and I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to relax a little tonight. But this here, folks, this here, the last time I had hair like this was in the 70s. It's not going to last long. Once again, we have been under lock and key here in the state of New Jersey. Today was probably the freest day we've had. Barbershops and hair salons and all kinds of stores are now beginning to open up. The King, King Murphy, has signed a decree to give us our liberty and freedom back. He thinks that this is a time to celebrate. This is not the time to celebrate. Because frankly, the time to celebrate in New Jersey is going to be in November 2021 when we throw him out of office. That is going to be the time to celebrate. But even before 2021, the greater time to celebrate is going to be in November this year when we re-elect Donald J. Trump to the presidency of the United States of America. So we're going to be talking about a lot of what's going on around the country. And as we have over the past few weeks, and we're going to begin now because it's 6:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. Folks, you know, the other night, in fact, all week, I've been sharing with you that the socialist agenda is being advanced by the Democrat Party here in the United States. And it is being advanced aggressively, and it's being advanced without fail. Now, look, the question I've been asked, other than about not being able to get a haircut, is a very serious question, and I kind of have the answer to it. As we hear the Democrat socialists advance their agenda, as we see the burnings being, the buildings being burned down, as we see police precincts being taken over, as we see police officers being abused, not only and just by anarchists and communists and socialists, but being abused by politicians. As we see all this going on, the number one question I'm being asked is, where on earth are the Republicans we elected to office? Where are they? Folks, the answer is this. They're too busy killing each other. They're too busy calling each other names. Now, I'm not saying all of them are doing that. I can tell you that here in New Jersey, it's been pretty silent. Frankly, it has. John McCain, 5th District Congressional District, he's spoken out. Trish Flanagan, United States Senate candidate, she's been speaking out. Jack Ciattarelli, gubernatorial candidate who's going to clean Murphy's clock in 2021, he's been speaking out. There's three folks. And the other question that I have is, where's the New Jersey State PBA? There are PBAs and FOPs across this country that are joining together, and they're screaming bloody murder against these politicians. But I'll tell you where the New Jersey GOP leadership may be, hiding, because they helped elect Phil Murphy to office. They financed and funded his campaign, and they betrayed every cop in the state of New Jersey by doing that. And I get fired up when I think about that, because we have great cops here in this state. We have great cops across this country, every day saving lives, saving people. And these politicians are stripping our police officers of the weapons and the tools they need to go in and to break up these thugs and these mobs. In some of these states, Minneapolis, for example, that city, Seattle, they are refusing to give the police the tear gas, the rubber bullets, and the equipment they need to take back their cities and to protect the people. And at least the unions there are beginning to speak up. NYPD, they're beginning to speak up. But here in New Jersey, well, they're not going to speak up. But I would hope and I believe that the rank and file cops in this state of New Jersey are going to wake up and throw these guys right out of office, throw them out on their rear ends. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, frankly. Shameful that they don't raise hell the way the Democrat socialists are, the way the NYPD is. All you read about is, well, we joined the petition, we signed a letter and we sent it to Murphy. We're not happy with this. You got to do more than that. You got to have something that we don't see today in politics, and we don't see today of anyone in an executive office such as union leaderships. You don't see courage. You really don't, folks. You don't see guts. You don't see courage. The leader of this country, the president of the United States, he's demonstrated a hell of a lot of courage, and he gets criticized for it. But he stays the course. Ronald Reagan, I'm proud to wear this hat. Ronald Reagan demonstrated courage, and he stayed the course. But where on earth are the Republicans across this country, Republicans like Congressman Jordan and others? There are a great lot of them across the country. I'm yet to see too many here in New Jersey. But where in the world are they? They're out there, folks, criticizing each other. There's an election coming up. They'd rather beat the heck out of each other than beat the heck out of the Democrat socialists. But we're caught between a rock and a hard place across this country. Last night, Tucker Carlson, he nailed it. The only hope we have for this republic to survive is the Republican Party. Our only hope, folks. The only hope we have for this republic to survive, in my view, begins with President Donald Trump being reelected. But if he doesn't have Republicans in office that are not going to stand with him, or Supreme Court justices, unlike Justice Roberts, who are going to stand with conservatives, we're doomed. I got to tell you, folks, I must sound like a broken record, but I got to continuously remind people that we're in trouble. We are in serious trouble. Last night, what happened in Lafayette Park was an absolute disgrace. They're tearing down history, folks. They're rewriting U.S. history. And now they're taking it a step further, folks. They're changing names of football teams, of baseball teams, and schools in New Jersey. I got to tell you, there was a report today, folks, that schools across New Jersey, they're changing their names. God forbid your name of the football team is like the Cowboys. My goodness. Cowboys or Indians. Everybody's insulted now. Everybody. Everything somebody says, somebody gets insulted. It's biased, it's racist, and on and on and on and on. Now, I'm going to tell you the irony to this whole crusade of the Democrat Socialist Party, wanting to rename everything and condemn everyone as a racist if they use the term cowboys or Indians or whatever. The irony of it is the Democrat Party, folks, was the party that embraced slavery. What is more racist than that? They need to change their name. The Democrat Party is the party that embraced racism, bigotry, and slavery. So why isn't there a call out to change the name of their party? And instead of doing that, they've got their thugs, their lunatics going out there taking down statues of none other than Abraham Lincoln, the Republican that freed the slaves. Absolutely incredible that this is going on. But it's going on for two reasons, folks. Reason number one, Democrat socialists are on the march. It all started with that mayor, if you want to call her a mayor, over there in Seattle, who said we are going to have a love fest. Bring them in. We're going to have a love fest in Seattle. That's what we're going to do. And they came in and they took over the entire 6-block area of that city. And now, because instead of handing out flowers like they were handing out bullets and left a 19-year-old kid to die in the streets and another one wounded. Why? You all saw it on TV. Never thought I'd see this in America, where the police were going in, guns were drawn, they were up, they were going in to look for the shooter, but they were told to go away by this mob, by these thugs, and the cops went away. They went away, they ran away. And I'm not blaming those cops. They had no choice but to run away because they're under orders not to engage anyone, not to go after the criminals and the bad guys, even in Seattle when you're being shot to death. So it ends up the mayor changed her tune today. Now she's going to allow the cops to go in, and they're going to try to take back the city. Good luck. Now, I tweeted out something earlier that solicited a response. I'm getting a lot of responses from the left. They're monitoring now. I understand what I'm saying, and I'm glad they are. Maybe they'll learn something. But this is what I tweeted out, folks, that I fully support the President of the United States' earlier tweet saying that the people in Washington, D.C., who are anarchists and rioting and burning buildings down are not going to be treated like they were treated in Seattle or Minneapolis. That he is going to do what has to be done. And so my tweet was very simple. Use the force, any force necessary. You get it, folks? Any force necessary to end this. This has got to end across the country. There is a reason, folks. And now what I'm about to say, I know it's going to be interpreted and misinterpreted, and all kinds of people are going to get upset. But you know what? I've got to tell you how I feel. Because many of you are feeling the way that I'm feeling. When I shared last night, I was trying to send a signal, and I believe the signal was sent and received. What I shared last night was that when protesters started to act up the way these anarchists are acting up in Moscow, yes, Moscow, Russia, and St. Petersburg, Russia, Vladimir Putin unleashed his military and he unleashed his cops. They went in and they cleaned that mess up in an hour, and there hasn't been a protest against that government since that day. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, here we go, man. You want the army to go in? You're darn right. You're darn right. We need to send our troops in to clean this mess up. This is no longer a fight against the Democrats and Republicans, the liberals and the conservatives. My goodness, this is a fight for our country. This is a fight for the United States of America, for our freedom and for our liberty. How can any citizen in Seattle, Washington feel that they can exercise their right to free speech and live under what this flag symbolizes? I certainly couldn't. 77 people shot in the city of New York this week. 55 more shootings, 25 more in Chicago. And it's spreading out, folks. It is spreading out. It's spreading out because of this right here. You know what this is, folks? This is point for point, Socialist and Communist Manifesto. And I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but I'm going to share a few things with you to simply articulate and define and confirm what I said last night. Because there was something I said last night, not knowing that as I was saying it, it was actually taking place. And here's what I'm going to say, folks. Last night, I talked about the advance of socialism and then the advance of communism. And what do I get? Out of all the emails I get, and I knew this was coming, well, wait a minute, you're telling a non-truth. You're saying that socialism is bad when in Sweden, socialism is working. Man, I've heard that a million times. And remember what I said, folks? You know, when you're a former cop, you're a retired cop, retired military intelligence officer, you got the network, right? You got the resources. Go out and get some facts. I got some facts, folks. I got some facts, and I want to read them to you, because if you used my argument and didn't have these facts, you'd be kind of kind of speechless. Here we go, folks. To begin with, it was Lenin, folks, who said that. He said a few things, but he said that you tell a lie long enough, people are going to believe it. And he also stated, folks, that it will take one generation. That's all he needed was one generation. Here it is. Give me just one generation of youth and I'll transform the world. Vladimir Lenin, folks. We are now living with a generation that is getting sucked into the socialist and now becoming communist agenda. Now, why am I calling it a communist agenda now? Wait, folks. Just wait till I got to share with you. So here we go. All right. Sweden. The truth about Sweden, the Swedish socialist government, it failed decades ago, folks. Here's what happened. It stopped doing what? It stopped creating jobs, folks. It stopped creating jobs where? In the private sector, which meant all of the jobs that the people have in Sweden was going where? To the public sector, all public employees. What's happened to our jobs lately, folks? They're shut down. Think about this. Now, I'm not going to go into a conspiracy theory. I'm not that type of person. I don't believe in that nonsense. But what I do believe in, as I said, is facts. And when you start connecting the dots, you begin to realize there's a pattern. So now we have the shutdown. People are out of work. The private sector is getting hit pretty good. Well, that happened in Sweden. But socialism stopped that. Businesses stopped producing goods and services to be traded in the world markets. What has happened over the past 2 months with the United States with regard to doing business overseas and the world markets? Successful companies and Swedish celebrities fled free economies across the world to escape what? Debilitating taxes and regulations. Residents in the blue states are fleeing, folks. They're fleeing these states. They're fleeing New York and New Jersey. They're fleeing California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Florida. They're going to red states. But the people in the red states, beware. Don't let them bring their liberal garbage to you or you'll be fleeing somewhere else if there's any place else left. Make sure you let them know that they're coming to a red state, a free state that believes in liberty and the Constitution of the United States. Taxes. So a socialist government imposes taxes, high taxes. What's going on? What are the blue states talking about? We know here in New Jersey, they're increasing taxes. National health care, we went over that. Let the government control who your doctor is, what kind of operation, and when you're going to get it. And then the worst thing of all, and I mentioned this last night, worst thing at all, folks, the National Police Force. That is being talked about by the Democrat Socialist Party. Once you have a national police force, your country's gone. One centralized police force. Tell you folks, it's happening as I speak with you. Now, let's talk about communism and what I shared with you last night. Part of our campaign for America, and we're going to be starting, and we're going to do it not only virtually here on the internet, but we're actually going to be going to Florida. We're going to be there for 3 or 4 days in August, Dallas, and then back to New Jersey. And we're going to be going all over the country, right up to the re-election of President Trump and well after that, to get the country prepared to bring Republicans back into Congress and Senate and to get the country prepared to elect another Republican after President Trump finishes his second term. But our campaign for America is not only to do that, it's to fight and fight and fight. If we have to fight to our last breath against the socialists and the communists who have infiltrated this country. And for those of you who are kind of thinking I'm exaggerating about the communists, hold on to your seat. Because what I got to share with you is going to be very troubling. So anyway, last night as I'm talking about communism and how, in fact, didn't I use the illustration? Instead of this flag, folks, there are people in this country that want to replace that beautiful flag with a red flag and a hammer and sickle. So last night, as I was talking about it to you, I got this from the West Wing this morning. Yeah, the White House, the West Wing. A World War II monument in Charlotte, North Carolina, was targeted by vandals who spray painted, here we go, a hammer and sickle over the names of soldiers who died while fighting overseas. There it is, folks. Now, who in the world represents red and a hammer and sickle. It represents what the headline says. World War II monument in North Carolina vandalized with praise for communism. There it is, folks. For communism. What did I say? For months, we are going to go in a progression from atheism to socialism to communism. There is a war going on. Now listen to this one. There is a war going on against cops, and there's a war going on against minorities. The war is not between the minorities and the cops. That's what certain people would like us to believe in order to divide us, in order to divide this country. But there is a war going on between the socialists and the communists and the police, and the socialists and the communists and the minorities. And the socialists and communists are right in front of us. Now, here's where I get into trouble. Here's where Lieutenant Steve Rogers gets into trouble, always with my own party, the Republican Party. This is a war that is being waged against the police and a war being waged against the minorities of this country by politicians of both parties. There you have it. You have the Dem socialists on one end truly advancing a socialist agenda, which is now bordering on communism, as we're beginning to see. And then you have a Republican Party cowering somewhere in a corner. To me, that is a silent war. Silence is consent. The Republicans in this country need to stand with the other Republicans like Ted Gowdy, like Congressman Jordan. Ted Cruz down there is fighting. Like President Donald Trump, John McCain up here in New Jersey, Trish Flanagan, USA. I don't care if you're a candidate or not. You're a Republican, you stand up and you fight. So am I wrong? Am I wrong? Can you answer the question? If I'm wrong, then send me an email. Oh, you're all wrong. The Republicans across this country, not the people, because they're the ones asking the question. The Republicans and mainly the leadership of this country and the Republican Party have risen the white flag of surrender, folks. And you know, I got to tell you, and I know I'm going to hear from them, but you know what I'm sick of, folks? And I know you're sick of it. I'm sick of this. All they do is form committees and commissions and investigations and on and on and on. And they come out with all kinds of reforms that the president already gave in his executive order. They're called feel-good things, folks. They want us to feel good that they're doing something about the problems that our country's facing. How about this? How about this, folks? How about some of our Republican leaders? Go visit some of them cops out there on the front lines. Go out there. Go visit some of them cops in their police departments and police precincts and shake their hands. And then go visit some of the minorities in those neighborhoods who are crying out for help. Why don't you go do that? Why don't you? That's what a leader does. I was a commander in the United States Navy, a commander of a detective bureau here in the state of New Jersey. And a good commander goes out with the troops, goes out with the people, leads the charge, not sits behind a desk and starts an investigation and decide, well, we're going to form another commission. Good commanders go out on the field. And they're shoulder to shoulder with the people being victimized. And you know who's being victimized? Yeah, the crime victims are being victimized, no doubt about it. I said, and I continue to say, and I'm going to say it Friday on Fox. I'm going to say it Friday on One America News. I'm going to say it on Newsmax. I'm going to say it and say it and say it until somebody starts to listen, not only to me, but others who are on this team doing this around the country, that the blood of the people of this country is going to flow in our streets like never before in the history of this country. Why? Because we, the people of the United States, are allowing, by virtue of electing some of these people to office, allowing this to happen. That's right. And we got to throw them out. We got to throw them out of office, folks. Get rid of them. I'm asking you to call your Republican representative tomorrow and tell them to get off their rear end and do something. Now, you'll probably get a recording because they're probably out on a beach somewhere where we're still locked up here in some states. But I have, and I've made it known. And I've asked you, and I'm sharing with cops, hundreds of cops watch this broadcast. They do, folks, as well as others. But don't you take a picture with any of these people. Your union leadership comes to you and says, well, you know, we need to have a pay raise. Yeah, folks, hey, guys, you want a pay raise? You're not going to have a job left. Forget your pay raise. You're not. Don't you see what's going on around the country? They're disbanding police departments. There's a vote going on. I have the darn press release here. There's a city in this country that is actually putting before the voters whether they want to disband county police departments. Now, know this, folks, when politicians put something like that out to vote, they know they're going to win. They're covering themselves. But that's what's going to happen. All right, so let me go on to this real quick. So remember what I said about the communists? I'm going to be running out of time, and we're going to pick this up tomorrow, but I'm just going to really, really kind of summarize this. I said that the communists have infiltrated our educational system. All right, that's one piece of what I said last night. So here's what happened, folks. Listen to this. Communist propaganda has infiltrated more than 100 U.S. colleges, posing as Chinese Language Institute. Think about that, folks. The Chinese Communist Party has set up and established institutes in colleges across America. Want to know why your kid goes to college as a conservative and comes out a socialist or a liberal? This is what's happening. Right here. You want the documents? I'll send it to you. Just email me. According to Politico, all right, Politico, China is quietly infiltrating our colleges and sprinkling in communist propaganda through a program called the Confucius Institute. College administrators like to deny and overlook the program's sinister motives, but it's there. It is absolutely there, folks. The University of North Carolina, get this, the University of North Carolina, what did I just read to you? That they were tearing down statues in North Carolina, folks, spreading communist propaganda. Isn't that ironic? The University of North Carolina at Charlotte is one of the latest schools to open a branch, joining a list of 100 campuses in the U.S. and 500 plus campuses worldwide to host the Confucius Institute. Chinese government officials have publicly admitted, this is how bold they are, have publicly admitted and even boasted about the program's deceptive nature. Now, there's a lot in here about that. And I'm going to be picking up on this tomorrow, folks. And I'm going to be picking up on how, you ready for this one? On how the Chinese Communist Party and other socialists and communists in this country have not only infiltrated our colleges, but infiltrated our elementary schools, our high schools. Everything I'm sharing with you is factual. It is in writing. It is reported from reputable professors and researchers around the country. And most of it, as I just shared with you, is confirmed by the Chinese Communist Party. So when I shared with you just a few weeks ago that this is a long-term agenda that is now being executed, very long, years, decades, well, you and I are reaping, if you will, the rewards of what they have done. And now they're coming after us. Tucker Carlson said last night, and I have to agree with him, and I'm going to hopefully see him real soon. He said something last night that was chilling, but it was something that needed to be said. As you're watching the buildings burn, as you're watching parks taken over, as you're watching the socialists across the country change the name of schools, change the name of buildings, removing God, watching a church, when? On national TV, do you ever see a church get desecrated, like the church at Lafayette Park? When you see history being rewritten before our eyes, he asked the question, and I'm going to ask you the question. What are you going to do when they come into your neighborhood? What are you going to do when they come marching down the streets of your neighborhood, of your city? Now, here in Nutley, New Jersey, there were protesters here. There were, I think there were about 1,000 of them. They behaved. They behaved. They didn't destroy anything. They didn't burn anything. They did what America is all about. I don't agree with them one bit. I don't, folks. Their agenda's all wet. They don't know what they're talking about, but that's what they believe in. So they have the right to protest. And this is what America's all about. But I'm not talking about the peaceful protesters, because the peaceful protesters want answers to questions they have. Questions that Joe Biden was asked. Remember when he told the black gentleman that he's not black if he votes for Trump? See, that's what you get from the Democrat socialists. But I'm talking about the violent ones. I'm talking about the socialists and communists. You want to know what fear is? You want to know what fear is, folks? When that happens. But we're not going to fear anybody. Oh, no, we're not. As I said, we are on this campaign for America. If this is my mission in life, if this is what God led me up to this point and all the things I've done in life, I'm ready. I am ready, folks. And it's not only me. You know who's doing what I'm doing tonight and other nights? Military commanders, folks, who I know. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on social media all over the place. We've been building and building and building a campaign for America, and we're praying unlike anything anybody has seen, because we're not going out campaigning for a candidate other than President Trump and some Republicans who we know we could trust. Well, our goal is to go out and we're campaigning for you, the people, the United States of America. We're doing today in our time what Ronald Reagan did in his time, and maybe I'll always wear the hat. We're doing what he did in his time in fighting the communists, and now we're doing what President Trump is doing in our time, pretty much standing alone, fighting the socialists. But he's not alone. He's got us. So if our leaders in the Republican Party want to sit back and cower in some corner, hey, listen, they're coming out soon, folks. They're coming out soon. There's an election coming up. They got to come out soon. They're going to be sipping that wine, and they're going to be shaking hands and patting everybody on the back. I'll be there. I will be where they are. But I'm going to ask them the question. Where were you? I'm really going to do that, folks. And I'm not going to embarrass anybody. I'm not going to do that. I live by Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, as tough as it is. Thou shalt not publicly go against any Republican. I'll name the party, but I'm not going to go against my word. I'm not going to give the Democrats more ammunition, but I'll ask the question. Where on earth were you when we needed you? Where on earth were you when your country needed you? Where on earth were you when the police needed you? Where on earth were you when the minorities that you so want to willfully embrace, where were you when they were getting shot at in their neighborhoods? And it's not only minorities, folks. I'm pointing towards the minorities of this country because truly they are taking a beating in Chicago, in Seattle, in LA. They're the ones getting shot and killed. Their kids are getting shot and killed. Like the 3-year-old that got shot and killed the other night. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? A 3-year-old getting shot and killed because an asinine Democrat socialist mayor and governor decides that we're going to just let everybody do their thing in their love fest, even if they want to fire off a few rounds. Well, 7 o'clock. And I try to keep these to a half hour, folks. I hope that in this half hour, I inspire you. I know I give you knowledge that maybe some of you, it scares the living daylights out of you, but fear not. I'm telling you that to fire you up, to get you angry enough to say, you know what? I'm not just going to sit back. And if you can't get out there, look, you can't get out there, we'll get out there for you. And like I said, I'm not going to come on the air ever and ask you to contribute to the campaign for America financially. Not going to do that. Why? You've been hit hard with this virus. You're out of work. You're unemployed, and on and on and on. I get it. And I get kind of angry when I get these mail, these all kinds of emails and stuff. Send me 5,525 and this and that. And I get angry over that because people are out of work. But I'll tell you what I've been doing, and I kind of picked this up from the Reagan Foundation, and I picked this up from the president's campaign. what they do is they'll offer things to you. If you want to buy them, yeah. If you're not, fine. So here's what we've offered, and it made a big hit last night. And this is something, you want to do something for cops? See this, folks? This is a police officer survival kit, all right? There's about a 10 to 12 page little booklet in there, and it's a booklet of Proverbs and Psalms, and it addresses some of the problems police officers are facing. And we got one for the Customs and Border Patrol people. We're producing them for state troopers and law enforcement people all up and down the line. Comes in this little plastic bag. I'll open it up for you. Okay, so you got the booklet, all right? And you've got right here the Roman Road and Hope for America. Obviously, it looks like it's backwards the way you're seeing it. So we got these things in here, and we got some other items we put in there. And you know what we do with them, or we're asking you to do with them? They're sold in packs of 5. You get 5 of these for about, I think, $7.76. By the way, everything our store has is going to be 776, 1776, okay? So 5 of these. If you can buy 5 or 10 and bring them to your local police department. Or do what my wife and I have been doing. You know what we've been doing, folks? We've been carrying them with us. We go down to Wildwood, or we'll go here and there. We run into a cop. We hand it to them. I've actually pulled up where police officers are parked, got out of the car, said, hello, officer, and I'd give them this. And they'd thank me. They would thank me. This is something they're going to carry, and the reason why we put it this size, they put it in their pockets. All right? So you can get that. Our books, all right? 1776, folks. These are our books, America's Homeland Warriors, and this is Governing the Affairs of the People. Something I failed to mention last night, in this book, folks, let's see, we've only got about 2 dozen left. In this book is Al-Qaeda's training manual. Unclassified, folks, it's all here. It'll run a chill up and down your spine, because what we're seeing take place today, a lot is in their training manual, and no doubt ISIS is using some of this. All right, so again, our store, we have an online store, and after I gave it out last night, people went to the store and they bought a few dozen of these things, and I'm so grateful. Look, I get a thrill out of doing this, because I know you're going to take it and you're going to bring it to cops and your state troopers or your friends. I've got some police wives putting stuff together for survival kits for the police wife. So if you could do that, that'd be great. And all of the proceeds, all of it goes to our operations. It goes towards all the expenses. Nobody's getting paid here. All the expenses of doing what? Traveling, Florida, Dallas, getting these meetings going. That's what we do with the money we get. All right, so here's how you can get it. You can get it by going to RogersForAmerica.store. It's that easy. Rogers, my name, RogersForAmerica.store. You're going to see on the barcode, it's going to say store. You push that button, it's going to say books and publications. You push that button and bingo, you're in the store. How's that, folks? Well, all right. 6:30 p.m. we started, and 7:05 we ended. See this, folks? You're going to see me here like this until Thursday. Friday, I have an appointment. I am told by friends who have gone to barbers that it's like going to the doctor's office. You get your temperature taken. You get a mask if you don't have one. You get gloves. You get all kinds of stuff going on just to get a haircut. It is what it is. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. And one more thing. Our intelligence report, our briefing is going out in July, beginning of July. Most of what I've shared with you is in writing in that report. So when you order something, we're automatically going to put you on that distro list. 10,000 go out every month. If you would like to have a copy, just email me and we'll get it out to you. Okay. So that's it, folks. Thank you. God bless America. God bless you. God bless everybody. I'll tell you, I think that God still and will always answer our prayers. And thank God we have a God that does that. And remember, and I have to keep myself remembering this too. And if everything we do